fight for off the pitch?
I think activism is important for me personally because I felt as an adult coming up through this game, when I was a youngster, even playing football as a girl was an act of activism. It wasn't something that was just readily available and there for multiple girls to play. I didn't have visible role models around me on TV and that sort of thing that I could see, that journey or that pathway. And I think that's really where it starts, just being here and being visible and showing that I can do it and, play at the highest level and live a dream that I didn't really imagine to start with is what it's all about. But I think it's also given me my voice. It's given me a platform to share my opinions, but also hopefully give a voice to people that don't have a voice as well for issues and values that I believe in, because those are the values I think that have carried me throughout my career and the stories that have been shared with me, from teammates who come from completely different cultures and backgrounds and different experiences within football and coming up through their own professional journey. I think it's important for us to remind people just where the game has come from and where it needs to go, and support all the people that support the game, because there are lots of people out there who also have their own stories to tell and don't get to share that.
Definitely. And can I just get your reaction on it?
Yeah, I mean, I always say the quadruple season was probably the biggest highlight of my domestic playing career, and I think it was because when I reflect upon it now, the time in which we did it, we weren't a fully professional team. We trained twice a week together. We were playing in the league and playing in Champions League, then the UEFA Women's Championship. And to do it with that group of players, with the determination we had against the teams that we faced, who were probably a year or two ahead of where we were at as a club, was just incredible, and such a difficult thing to do, to play a number of games week in, week out while you're focusing on the league, you're focusing on cup games as well as the European Cup. It takes a lot of energy mentally as well as physically, but it's your commitment to the cause. And I think adrenaline often is what carries us through, because there were probably a number of moments during that time where we didn't always perform at our best, but we found a way to win. And that's also an important facet to have as a team. And even during that final game over 2 legs when we met Umeå, they were probably, from the outside perspective, the stronger team, the favourites. But we had an inner sort of belief, I think, between the group that we could do it, Individually, we were ready for our battles, our individual battles, and we were just ready to compete. And there were a number of obstacles during that final game at Bournemouth where, we needed a bit of luck as well, and the ball hit our goalkeeper in the head, but hits the cross, the post and bounces out. Little moments like that where you suffer because the opposition, they're a top side, that's why they're in a final, and you ride that pressure and you overcome it and you get the result is just the most incredible feeling. It's like, it's spine tingling, it's just like elation, everything, and that's really what it was, and that's the point. It's never always perfect. The whole season was not perfect. Not every performance was perfect, but the mentality to just do whatever it takes to win, I think, is what got us there as well.
And what was that for an experience for you?
Well, the Olympics, just to be at a home Olympics was incredible, and to be able to kick it off with Kelly Smith as well is another thing that I get to hold on to and say, I did that, which is a lovely feeling to have. But I think ultimately, when we got together as Team GB, we had a shorter period to really get to work, as in terms of training and preparing for the tournament, and that takes a lot of attention, and kind of focus and concentration to just get on board with things very quickly, because obviously bringing in together the other home nation players as well, we had to learn about each other really quickly in how we played and what things we like to do, and in lots of ways in terms of communication and taking information on board. So yeah, it was a different challenge, but it was also an amazing historic moment for us as a nation, to have our first team competing in the Olympics for football. It was not something most of us had grown up even witnessing. So to be that part of that team, to do that, and now to have allowed that space for it to continue is amazing, because I hope to see, you know, future generation teams get to do that as well, as they have done so far. It's just, it's a whirlwind, because there's so many sports obviously within the Olympics, and that's what we've all enjoyed, you know, for so many years. And I felt like a fan in the Olympic Village, you know, seeing like Usain Bolt in the canteen, or Tom Daley. So it's just this immense feeling of being around lots of professionals, athletes who, you know, I admired them so much, because 4 years of preparation for one tournament. We're quite spoiled in football, where we have all these competitions domestically and internationally too.
Definitely. And, you know, we spoke about what all about.
Yeah, I honestly, it took me by surprise, because I just walked in at breakfast at the club and was just chilling, eating my toast or whatever, and then he walked in and the girls were like, oh my God, and then he presented me with a shirt, and he said some really lovely things about my career and myself, and yeah, it was amazing, because as a Liverpool fan as well, like, you know, he's one of my heroes as well, so to have that moment was really special.
And as 19 years playing in the game, how do you reflect on your career?
I'm immensely proud of my career. I think I think I get reminded about my career from other people. You know, when you're in it, you always look into the next game, the next competition, the next target. But really for me, it was when I had friends that I grew up with from my area that I used to play in, you know, our little ball court, reaching out to me on social media, being like, you know, what you've done is amazing. Like, what you've done for like yourself, your family, your area, that for me like hits home more, that I'm like representing like my community as well, and people that I grew up with and knew me as a kid, and growing up to get into this point where I've played for clubs and, you know, obviously the national team. So for that reason, that makes me like immensely proud of, in terms of what I've been able to do both on and off the pitch.
And just the remainder of your career since? Absolutely,
because I think it's important for young girls as well as boys to see like strong women who have opinions, who can compete, who are, you know, have talent and can show their ability and are brave. You know, both, you've got to be brave on and off the pitch, and winners often are brave. They're the ones that dare to do things that other people don't think to do, and take decisions and take responsibility. And I think that's part of it, and off the pitch that's part of it too. You know, sometimes it's tough to be the one or the only one that wants to stand up for a cause or an issue, but it literally takes one person, doesn't it, to sort of, I guess, start a movement and get other people to sort of jump on board and want to support it. So for me, that's what I really took from that experience.
And you are today?
Absolutely. I think at the time, going abroad was the only real viable opportunity to play professionally full time, and I wanted to experience that. I wanted to know what it was to be a professional, what it takes to be a professional, and I had to dare to do that, you know, and go abroad and be independent and learn about myself as well, you know, how I cope without my immediate support network in terms of my family and friends around me, with the pressures of playing and adapting to environments. But I think all of those experiences, the highs, the lows, and the different obstacles along the way, have kind of shaped who I am today, and also given me, I believe, the resilience tools to know that even when things are tough or they're not going your way, you find a way, you know, to cope, and you have those coping mechanisms, and you get through it, and you know, okay, I've got through it, I'm here, I can still keep going forward. And I think that's important to sort of to experience that and know you have that in you.
It's interesting.